Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, and after like half an hour of waggling wheels and stuff, I finally managed to get this thing to fall back over, and from what I can tell, everything appears to be intact. So let's go ahead and call that a successful landing, shall we? Now, we definitely have way too much power here. So let's go ahead and disable the motors on the front wheels. And let's keep them enabled on the back wheels. We'll disable steering on the back wheels. So, cannot quick save while moving over the surface. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and try that out. Okay, so far so good. Yeah. This appears to be relatively manageable. Yeah, I don't hate that. Okay, let's turn on the brakes. And for right now, we're just going to grab all of this. Temperature scan, atmospheric pressure scan. We are going to do a mystery goo observation. We'll never be able to do that one again. But we're also going to do a seismic scan. Excellent. 15%, 15.2%, that is going up. But I think we're okay. And let's go ahead and just transmit all of this data. Yep, transmit all. How are we doing on that? Uploading data. Excellent. Our connection isn't the best, but we are okay. Fantastic. We're doing fine on as far as atmospheric. As far as electric charge goes, we're doing fine. So we've landed on the surface of Moho. Get out of here. And we have also received experimental data from the surface of Moho. Fantastic. So there's that done. Let's go ahead and retract our antenna again. That does actually make it so we don't have any connection at all. Maybe we'll keep it out. The only reason I was retracting it was because of this clipping through, but that seems to be fine. So we'll turn off the brake action group. Oh, we just plain old don't have any connection right now. So that is because we lost LOS to the Odd One Mark III. Well, that's fine though. We can now just wait for it to come back, and we can always get data from the surface of Moho, which of course is this contract here that we completed. So, there's our rover on Moho. We should probably have our brakes on if we're going to be leaving. That would help. So let's head on back to the Space Center. Excellent. So, the next thing is, what do we want, or rather the question becomes, what do we want to do next? Well, let's take a look and see if we have any nice contracts. Plant a flag on Minmus again. Specific orbit of Moho. I mean, we're getting to the place where we could do that, is the thing. Sean's cannery. Oh boy. It would need a mystery goo and an accelerometer. I don't think we even have accelerometers yet. Do we? I think accelerometers are, like, down this way somewhere. I could be wrong. Ion propulsion, advanced science tech. Negative gravioli detectors. Narrow band scanners. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we do have accelerometers. We would have to put mystery goo on it. That wouldn't be too bad, though. And having another satellite in orbit over Moho would increase our coverage. To be sure. So, science. Oh yeah, it's a seismic accelerometer. Well, that's not going to be super useful. But let's go ahead and open up the Odd One Mark III right here. And then let's slap on here. We are going to need a mystery goo, apparently. And we're also going to need an accelerometer. We have a thermometer here. We'll leave that on. And then the question is, where are we going to put an accelerometer and a mystery goo? Well, an accelerometer would fit relatively nicely right here. We'll go ahead and do that. And a mystery goo would fit right here. Go ahead and do that. So that did cut our delta V a little bit. However, one thing to note is that this is using a poodle. We can go ahead and drop this, drop the poodle, stick on a nerve, drop all of the oxidizer out of this tank, which is over half of the weight. Stick this on here, and look at that delta V. It is truly glorious. So this would theoretically get there, especially once we have ion propulsion and can do that with for our satellites, but we don't have that yet. And we won't until we land a Kerbal on something. But this will get almost anywhere. So let's go ahead and save this as a new variant of the Mark III. This is definitely going to get a lot further. Do we want to add on the extra fuel from our previous launch? Is what I'm wondering right now. Let's see what that actually does to our delta V, shall we? Toss on one of those. Now, of course, that did put us underground. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but we'll go ahead and bring this guy up a bit. That actually lowers our delta V, but if we drop the oxidizer, it should bring it back up. Yeah, that's not a huge gain. How much are we paying for that fuel? 3,000 bucks. 3,000 bucks for like 500 meters per second. I'm going to go ahead and say not worth. So let's go ahead and save this as is, and let's take a look at this contract. So this contract is going to make us go where exactly over Moho? Before I decide if I want to do the contract, I want to see that. So Moho is here. Well, it's an awkward inclination, to be sure. But it's a nice and wide orbit. It wouldn't have great coverage for our landing site. Well, it would have decent coverage for our landing site, actually. It would pass over it. Ish. Over it-ish. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and do that for Sean's Cannery. Who is ringing the doorbell? That is not a thing that happens. Gotta love it when random people show up. Anyway, let's go ahead and position a satellite in a specific orbit over Moho. We're going to go ahead and take that. There we go. And now, we should be able to get to Moho fairly easily, realistically. Because this thing should get us to Moho quite easily, I think. And then this up here has like 2,000 delta V. Yeah. So I think we're going to be fine. So let's go ahead and launch this. This is going to be another Odd One Mark III with an RA-15 relay antenna. So let's go ahead and launch this. This should give us significantly better coverage for our probe. Theoretically. So we're going to just go ahead and launch straight up. Off we go. I can't help but notice that this engine is burning. I did not check my staging. Let's go ahead and go do that. So, these two, this one needs to be going here. That's when it fires. Well, that got us another 500 Delta V. And those pop off. That fires. Fairing comes off manually. That won't... we might as well just stick that up there. And then these fire simultaneously. Yep, that all looks good. Okay. Now that we've actually done that, let's go ahead and launch this guy into orbit over Moho, shall we? Sometimes I'm just too much of an eager beaver. I'm like, we've got 15 minutes left in this video. I gotta get this thing over Moho. And we're looking at a very lengthy nuclear burn as well. But, I mean, I can always pick it up next week. This is, after all, the final episode in my recording session. So I was hoping to have a mission completed by the end of this episode, but I don't know, that may not happen. However, it'll be a lot better if we time warp. Hopefully going through the atmosphere with physics warp on won't, you know, horribly ruin anything. Let's go ahead and take that off. Maybe we just run physics warp once we hit the edge of the atmosphere. I'm a little spooked out by the amount it was jittering around. Really? You're going this way, huh? Well, we'll see if it takes out our center stack, I guess. Well, we'll actually be relatively close to space when this detaches. It won't actually get us to space like our previous model did, but that's because we quad-coupled. Okay, please don't destroy us. Oh. Okay. So, it seems like MechJeb doesn't want to flip this around. So we are going to have to do that for MechJeb. Switch over to mirror symmetry. That's quad symmetry. We want dual symmetry. No, that's quad symmetry. We want dual symmetry. There you go. Excellent. Okay, let's double check our staging. That all looks good. Okay, let's do this for realsies. Ah, MechJeb. Why can't I ever predict what way you're gonna turn? I feel like that's a failing on my part, and MechJeb always turns the same way, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, let's go. No time to waste. We gotta get up there. Off we go. I really want to throttle up. Okay, MechJeb is starting the gravity turn. Maybe I'll throttle up after we reach max Q. That might not be a terrible idea. What is with this stuttering all of a sudden? Maybe it's something with a memory leak with the new patch or something. Who knows? What I do know is MechJeb is kind of struggling to control this. What are you doing, MechJeb? Like, seriously, what are you doing? Now I don't feel comfortable throttling up. Well, not throttling up, warping up. Come on, MechJeb. Get it under control, MechJeb. MechJeb, you're making it worse! What are you even doing? Are you going to force me to manually launch this thing? Like, look at this. This is insane. Well, we're about to detach. Okay. I think we're good. Go ahead and do corrective steering, MechJeb. We may need it. We're currently going along pretty well now, so I think we are A-okay at this point. For a second there, I thought it took out one of our fins, but it didn't. Okay, our apoapsis is now in space. And we are just about to our target apoapsis. We don't need surface or vessel. Orbital characteristics from Flight Engineer will be more than enough. Okay, we have now reached our target apoapsis. We've burned a lot more fuel than I was hoping for, on corrective steering and such. But hopefully we still have enough to get there. I mean, unless it does this nonsense. Come on, MechJeb. I turned on RCS for you. Go ahead and get over there. Get it under control. Wow, it's burning a lot of RCS for this. I'm going to turn it off while we drift slowly over this way, with our reaction wheel still turning. Excellent. I'm going to speed us up a little bit more, and then once we get over here, warp forward so that MechJeb can take it from there. This is going to be a relatively short burn. We'll be able to use our mainsail to escape Kerbal, so that'll be easy enough. Right about now, I'm going to warp up, and then we're just going to RCS on over here. There we go. And then I'm going to warp up once more just to kill that rotation right about now. And now MechJeb will take it from here. Excellent. We should get rid of our fairing. That's just dead weight at this point. Get out of here, you fairing. Excellent. There goes our solar panels. Absolutely glorious. MechJeb, why aren't you, executing this node? Disengage autopilot. I guess I'll do it. Lock to node. MechJeb was just refusing to circularize our orbit. Whatever. Just keep locked to prograde, actually. We're going to ditch this node, and we're just going to keep on going. We're going to escape the cruel bonds of Kerbal. Excellent. We should have plenty of Delta V to escape here. We're going to be running out of Delta V in this, certainly in our inclination match, or our plane match. Theoretically, we should have enough to get out. Yeah, now it's starting to get exponential. Excellent. Okay, keep it a bit slow now, so we don't burn extra fuel. There we go. Close enough. So let's go ahead and warp on out to our Kerbal escape. Somewhere right around in here. Need to warp a little further than this, probably. Yeah, we'll definitely need to warp a little further than that. But off we go. We are running what is possibly our last mission to Moho. I'm not sure that we're going to do another one. Like I said, I don't think we're going to land a Kerbal on Moho or Eve. Everything else will take it or leave it. Well, not really take it or leave it even. That's not the right word. We'll decide on a case-by-case basis going forward. Moho and Eve are probably no's because it's just difficult to get home. I mean, it is any way we slice it, but Moho is too hot. Eve has too thick of an atmosphere. So, those are the reasonings there. And let's just warp on forward a little bit until we are actually out. Excellent. Okay. We no longer need this, and now MechJeb, match planes with Moho. Match planes with target. We want to set our target as Moho. Create and execute. Fantastic. Not a bad position for the burn either, all things considered. So, this is rather a slow turn, is it not? We'll use RCS to at least get going here. We'll be needing it. Okay, now we can turn off RCS for the time being. Don't want to affect our orbit too much. Let's see here. We will be ready to throttle up soon. I do want to change our vector here a bit. About like that. Now we throttle up. And MechJeb will take it from there. Fantastic. Come on, MechJeb. Let's do this. So we are going to burn out this stage, and we're going to be using our nuclear engine for the last bit of it, which is going to be a little bit awkward, but it should be fine. We'll need to burn this stage pretty soon. Like, I would burn it a little early if it was me, but MechJeb won't do that. Like, I would have burned it by now. Like, probably 20 seconds ago. Just because I know we're going to be switching over to the atomic rocket motor, which is a lot less thrust to weight. A way lot less. But that's completely fine. So we're going to go ahead and finish up this burn here. Another couple of seconds here, and then we're going to stage to the atomic rocket motor, which we'll do right now, with a bit of lag apparently. Like I said, I think there might be a memory leak with some of these add-ons in the new version. None of these add-ons were actually updated yet. The version only came out a couple of days ago, so we have a lot of thrust to weight, or rather, very little thrust to weight here, and a lot of burn to get through, so I'm going to go ahead and warp up. There we go. And we'll be there pretty soon. We still have 30 minutes of burn in this stage, so that should be plenty. More than plenty. Plus we've got the 2000 Delta V from our actual satellite. So that's fine. Okay, this maneuver should be wrapping up momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and warp right on back down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, MechJeb's going to start throttling down. There it goes. And maneuver complete. We have now matched planes with the target. Next up, home and transfer to target. Create node. We're not going to execute it though, for obvious reasons that we've covered many times at this point. With that reason being remove all nodes. Try again, MechJeb. Okay, MechJeb is just failing. We need to manually adjust this a bit until we have an encounter. Okay, that's an encounter. It's not a great encounter. Let's just continue going negative a bit here until we have a slightly better encounter. I mean, that one's okay. We're going to be coming in this direction, however, which is the opposite direction from what we need. So let's go ahead and flip this, ideally. I mean, it is the opposite direction from what we need. So let's just go ahead and have this be as far out as possible, like out here. We'll execute this node. It's going to be a 12-minute burn, so that's going to be, you know, exciting. This thing does have a reaction wheel, doesn't it? Yes, it does. It does not seem to like to turn. Oh, I didn't tell it to. That helps. Okay, go ahead and get turning. We're going to be burning about half of our fuel in this stage, probably. Somewhere around in there. And then we're going to burn about the other half braking. So, there is that. Okay, going to go ahead and warp up right now. Stop our rotation. Excellent. So we're going to do this burn in about 87 days. That'll go by lickety-split. Make that about 70 days. Make that about 60. Make that about 40. Won't be too bad. So I think I'm going to circularize the orbit here and then put in a cut. So we might go a little bit over here. But I'm going to circularize this orbit, put in a cut, and then next episode we will finish off getting into this orbit. That's the idea anyway. Once we get into Moho, our thrust-to-weight ratio will go up substantially. So that'll be absolutely excellent. And I'm going to go ahead and time warp this, because otherwise it was going to take 16 minutes to burn this. In fact, maybe I'll just go ahead and put a cut in right now, circularize the orbit, and then we'll pick up there. I mean, it's not like circularization is anything special or new. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will see you all next time, wherein we will attempt to achieve this orbit around Moho. Well, this orbit. Not this orbit, but this orbit around Moho. See you all then.